working in rural India, one of the most uncomfortable situations that I face is when I'm advising treatment to a woman with tuberculosis. The average weight of such a woman would be 30 kilos, which is less than half of my 61 kilos, which is otherwise healthy. And if I see 100 such women with tuberculosis, the weights of 10th, 15th, 20th, 30th, and in fact 49 out of these 100 women would have weights of less than 30 kilos or up to 30 kilos. Is this fair? But I would say, is it at all just? I think it's clearly unjust. This reminds me of what Martin Luther King said about inequity when he was talking about different types of inequities, that of all inequities, inequity in healthcare is the worst of them all. And this raging inequity in access to healthcare was the one thing that led me to take my life's career decision to move from a doctor teacher that I was 16 years ago to move into rural India, trying in some way or the other to reduce inequity in healthcare. Not that this inequity in healthcare is not known, there is enough statistical data for that. Women in cities would be able to get a cesarean section rather easily, oftentimes excessively. But if you, in sharp contrast, in villages, women would often die for the want of getting a cesarean section when they really need it in bad times. Someone would present like this and die, the baby would die and the mother would often also die. Another example I can quote is of falciparum malaria, a disease that can kill in 1 or 2 days flat. 8% of our country's population is Adivasis, but 50% of them, all the malaria episodes happen among the tribals. Not only this, 70% of all deaths that happen in malaria happen among the tribals. Is this fair? Is this acceptable at all? Would we accept that if it happened to someone in our family or someone in our own community? As I work as a doctor in rural central India, I see inequity expressing in many different ways in healthcare. The excessive numbers of all types of major illnesses except obesity are seen, and the complexity of illnesses that I see of patients makes me wonder, challenges me technically, even though I may have been trained as a specialist. It not only tells that, it also raises a question: why do we have most of the hospitals in cities and not in the villages? Is it that people in cities have more illnesses? Or is it that people who take the decisions for resource distribution are basically located in the cities and they decide to sequester these resources like hospitals for themselves in the cities? I remember a time in 2008, an incident in monsoon of 2008, when a woman called Lach Kumar Bai in a village, Nivas Khar, in our program area, 45 kilometers away from the Bilaspur town, went into labor, second time in her life, and then she called for an ambulance by phoning up our hospital. We sent the vehicle in no time, and the vehicle could reach her village, but only on one side of the river, which separated the main road from her village. And then she waited in advanced labor from 8 p.m. onwards till 5 a.m. next morning, till the water receded and she could be brought across the river to a waiting jeep. So that she could be then taken to an operation theatre and a cesarean section performed on her. But the baby which was born was brought dead, and she had also suffered major birth passage injuries due to the prolonged labor. My wife, who stayed in the next city to this village, Nivas Khar, would have never suffered this ignominy simply because she was staying in a city. And Lach Kumar Bai stayed in a village which did not have a bridge across the river, and that made all the difference. Coming to weights again, when we say that 50% of our children, the Adivasis and Dalits particularly, have weights by which they are qualified as undernourished, which is itself a euphemism for chronic hunger, what we are not saying beside this smoke screen of statistics is that 50% of our children are going to bed hungry every night of their lives. I would not be I would be not able to sleep if one of my two daughters is not able to is sleeping hungry even a single night of her life. And you, along with me, we have accepted that 50% of our children go to bed hungry every night of their lives. Well, if deprivation is a cause of all illnesses, of most illnesses, then the physician and health workers become the natural attorneys of the poor. They should be able to see inequity in healthcare and, if at all, be able to fix it. Here I would like to define, there are three good types of health professionals or doctors. There's a type 1 doctor. Type 1 doctor is one who looks at the illnesses the symptoms of a patient, performs an examination, advises the minimum number of investigations, and then comes to a diagnosis on basis of which the person would prescribe the rational investigation at the lowest cost, lowest expense to the patient, and counsel about future course of the illness and about prevention in the future. This person is, in as much as the community is made of individuals, this person is actually doing good public health work. Is a typical type 1, a consultant in a hospital, city hospital, would be my type 1 doctor. Type 2 doctor is that who goes beyond the treatment of a particular illness, but who look at also the causes of the illness. For example, if someone sees 3 or more patients coming with diarrhea from a single mohalla or a village, then investigating for the water quality would be in order, would be the job of this type 2 doctor. Or if there were patients with fever suggestive of malaria or dengue from a particular locality, then one would investigate for mosquito breeding and fix it. This is my type 2 doctor. There is a type 3 doctor who looks at both basic determinants of ill health. For example, if one wants to fix up a problem, then why don't majority of our country's people have access to essential drugs at no cost, at no more impoverishment? Then that would require fixing the drug pricing policy of the country, by which essential drugs are left out of price control. Or if we look at the excessive number of illnesses that happen and kill people in, say, South Chhattisgarh, that is Bastar area, or if they have severe levels of undernutrition, is it because that the government is abetting the displacement of tribals in the name of corporate greed by giving them land for mining and for power resources? This type of addressing these types of issues, which are many of them are political issues, is a difficult thing. And I am reminded of what one bishop in Brazil in 1990s said once. When I gave food to the hungry, they called me a saint. But when I asked why the hungry did not have food, they called me a communist. Communist label of 1990s in Latin America would be equivalent of being called a Maoist in 2015 India. And these doctors who would be would be risking being labeled as that. You might ask, what label or what category do I belong to? I am Doctor 2.5. I look after patients' illnesses. I look at major illnesses that people come with. And along with a group of friends, we moved into rural Chhattisgarh for the last 16 years, trying to look after illnesses, care for them. As a case in point, I would treat about more than 500 new patients with tuberculosis and those levels of undernutrition every year. Not only do we do this, we also document what we do and try to advocate for this, for the right practices and policies with the state governments, with the central government, and if necessary, go to file litigation in the Supreme Court for bad policies. We also train young nurses, village health workers, and young doctors to take sides with the people. But whatever we do, we are always asking ourselves, is what we are doing reducing inequity in any way? And this is where I would exhort you to, whenever you're looking at any development work or any work in healthcare, use this talisman. Does that reduce inequity in any way? And do not tolerate any inequity in healthcare. Speak up for it. This is not the type of tolerance that is acceptable even in present days of intolerance. Finally, I would like to say that if you are planning to get into healthcare work, or if any of your kids are ready to go into healthcare work, the type of healthcare work that you would take on the area that you choose to work in, or the illnesses that you would like to look at, would determine whether you will be able to reduce inequity or not. Or as in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, someone said that it is in our choices that we show our true self, not in our abilities, not in our abilities. And frankly, life is all about making the right choices. I have made mine. What about you? Thank you.
Dr. 2.5, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Yogi.